Welcome to the bold analysis. What is happening in Mount Kenya? Because there seems to be a simmering cold war between the Kiama and the church council. And it can all be seen from what happened on Tuesday during a burial of one of the members of Kiama, and Muigai, who was leading the Kiama Gikuyu Council of Elders and was the patron and is the patron of that group, attended a burial of one of their own. And he was actually in his capacity as the patron of the council. Kun'gu is not very, is been in the limelight for a couple of controversies, including the latest one of defying Uhuru Kenyatta's direction, and he went despite the fact that he was Uhuru's cousin, and their cousin was the person in power, but they defied Uhuru and supported William Ruto. The extent of coming out and was actually on sharp criticism of former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. So even though other people say in Africa blood is thicker than water, but maybe on that it didn't really play out well. So in the last general election, Kun'gu was someone who was very close to William Samoei Ruto. And today, when he attended the burial, he attended, and when he went there, when he arrived there, I think the burial service was underway and was almost coming to an end. The church. So that tells you that tells you what happened. And I've tried to ask my good friend Anne on what is the position of Kiama, and he was telling me that this is one of the most powerful council. It was one of the most powerful council during the days of the founding father, Jomo Kenyatta. Even after supporting William Ruto, and of course a man who went against the former president, he did not know, little did he know, that Ruto was banking on the church council. And he banked on the church council because the Kiama team had already spent more time with Raila Odinga. Remember the tours to Jaramogi's home in Bondo, and another one in Central. They've been back and forth just to make sure that they create a rapport between the two groups. And he decided to work with the church council. By the way, maybe I also need to mention, apart from the Kiama, the church council is the new one now in the block, but there is also the Gitonga, which is the business group, and the Jamba, who are the warriors. I think these are the guys calling themselves the descendants of Mau Mau, if I'm not wrong. And the details are actually in a speech he gave later after the burial. He spoke to journalists, revealing that the Kiama group in Mount Kenya have been experiencing some hostility, pointing out to how the ground has been so slippery for that group. I can tell you this. When I listened to Kun'gu's interview, explaining, he's actually revealing the Cold War between Kiama and the church council. What do you think is the bone of contention between the two? What do you think is the big thing here? The big picture, I understand that the political class that is enjoying dominance in the mountain is slowly suppressing the voice of the elders. They have, at the height of last general election, This group at one point was even endorsing the former speaker, Justin Muturi, as I don't know the elder, the Luo, as not Luo, as Kikuyu elder. There was at one point, after Martha Karua was also picked as Raila's running mate, there was also another crowning in Kirinyaga. I have not seen Rigathi Gachagua meeting that group or even acknowledging the input of that group. I don't know why it is disregarded, but I know that in a society, what's happening there casually, in just in the face value, it's normal that these two don't meet. These two don't meet. If you read Ngugi wa Thiong'o's books, there is a way he says there's a clash between the cultural, the team that was conservative team that was embracing culture, and the team that was embracing the whites, or rather the missionaries. So, and the ones who, someone was telling me that Kikuyus who are being, when you are Isomation and missionaries, were being told, ukienda, don't forget our culture. Even if you go, like during those times, pre-colonial days, mostly missionaries used to, most people used to study through in the missionary schools, and they were told that even if you go to the missionary school, don't forget our culture. But in the historical lines, there have been that clash between the cultural aspects, the people that believe in the culture, and also the people that believe in the church. I have to acknowledge this and be so unfair not to mention that Mount Kenya, due to societal breakdown, the church has been the fabric of the community. That's why no wonder you'll hear there are many single mothers there, and they have got a very good comfort and solace in the church. The church elders, and it's playing a very strong pillar there, especially in places where there is societal breakdown. That's why utaona watasema watoto wetu wanakunywa pombe nini nini, but they will always get solace in the church. I know my good friends will agree with me on that. This was a very ingrained and grounded group. In the political space, I think the people that politicians that enjoy dominance there, the UDA team, would have a plot to suppress that Kiama group, because it actually gives prominence to the Kenyatta family. Like Kun'gu Muigai is from Kenyatta family. And then if you look at family tree, if you look at the origin of that Kiama and through, it can be traced from the founding father. Even if you listen to the way Kun'gu was saying there, he was referring to what Jomo Kenyatta said, that William ambaye anasahau mila ni mtumwa, msahau mila ni mtumwa. So this is not something that the new generation wants to hear. Or rather, the new generation of politics and politicians. I think William Ruto and the young politicians and even young people are already toxified, or successfully the narrative sunk that we don't want to hear about what happened in the past. We want to hear about what's happening now. And so when Raila would make these speeches, it would easily be trashed that, okay, he's telling us history. We don't want history. But that's where we get it wrong. Why this process of suppressing the council, the Gikuyu council, can be here is because of some 4 reasons. For Rigathi Gachagua to get grounded in the mountain and its plan, the only route is the church council. The Gitongas are divided. There are those who support him, those who don't support him. The Gitongas are the business community. The elders are so meticulous And quite a number of them still hold on Uhuru Kenyatta. And of course, that will be another longer process. Because when you go that way, then you'll have to bring the conversation of East or West. But regarding Gachagua, in his quest to take control of Mount Kenya, would prefer the church way because that's where he's grounded. I saw a post saying that the national altar is one of the deputy presidents. Is it altars? Hold out the altar is at one at the office of the deputy president. It's simple as that. They used the church council, and that's what they want to do. Number two, the hustler revolution is centered on the youth. So because it's the target, mostly you don't want to hear of the old men, of the wazees. You easily disregard and push wazees to the periphery so that you can be seen as coalescing with the youth. And I've seen it being done casually. Twice, when Rigathi Gachagua attended a graduation in Nyeri, he gave some 500,000 to some graduates there, telling them to go and party. Today, I think there was also some money that was splashed, I don't know, for some primary school somewhere, so that watafanya basho akimaliza. And he's simply getting to the youth. And his focus is on the youth, the hustler revolution. So that's why that hustler revolution, because it's centered on youth, no politician, or rather Rigathi Gachagua's team, will not want to bring any other on the fold. Karl Marx says that the religion can sanitize, justify, and legitimize power. The church is a semblance of the masses. And so, the new script, the old script that was used in 2022, that William Ruto used, is the same thing. It's easier for the church to legitimize power because they have the power of bringing, they have the potential of bringing masses together. The Wazes are not pulling huge crowds. They're not pulling big organized women groups and even youth groups compared to the clergy. So I think the ones that enjoy dominance in the rift, for in mountain, for them to maintain that dominance, they would rather go the youth way. Because Wazes will actually bring what I call Mount Kenya consciousness. Wazes will ask the questions that really, they look at the future, posterity, but the youth will just look at what's happening now. So they want to hold it there because it is through clergy or other religion that you run with narratives after the other. In this country, we are told that the power was given to us by God. It was changing hands. Remember the narrative that Raila is going to close churches. It worked. Oh, I wish Raila team would have known that. By the way, that narrative, that fallacy that when Raila becomes president, churches are going to be closed, where iliingia kwa akili ya watu. And it really set up Raila against the women in the church. That's the direction. For church, you can easily do the masses. Wazes are critical and thorough. So you will see mostly political leadership there. They are going that direction. And that's why I insist that that is the group that should actually also play the role of putting the government on check. Because they were equally in the space fighting for this political, making these political messages. And you know, what a political message done in the premise of a church is not doubted. First, it is, it's crafted and is packaged with some humility and Bible verses, and then the trust level in that word is high. It is big with. Remember, Uhuru Kenyatta in Sagana had an issue telling off the church leaders in the mountain that, look here, you guys are misleading the people. He said, and he was on record telling them off that that was not the direction that was supposed to be taken. And because Gachagua has realized that that's where the potential is. And again, for Muigai, I think he's the patron. And he has not been given anything, maybe, and I don't say I don't want to maybe talk of cronyism because he really deserves it because he supported William Ruto. That should not be the ground of someone getting a job. But also because he's connected to the first family, who tells you that he's going to dance to the tune of Reggae? That Reggae is going to dance to his tune. That's my take. And you can tell us, people from the mountain can tell us what exactly is happening. Why the hostility against the Kiama?